Hey guys, this is Dr. Ryan Hewitt here at Merrimack Valley Wellness Center, and today I'm going to talk about the foot. Foot being a very critical piece of your structure that is actually the base of everything we do. A lot of us have foot problems and don't even know it because they're not symptomatic yet. Some people do have symptom issues like plantar fasciitis, maybe they have some heel pain or chronic sprains and things like that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the ideal position of the foot and how that can influence your structure. So when you're standing on the ground in bare feet, what you should have, are 3 points of contact. Your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. It's like a tripod, both sides. And when those are gripping the ground with even pressure, you should have a nice arch like that. So an active foot like that. And that should be the base position for when you're, doing whatever, especially when you're squatting or especially when you're standing on 2 feet, etc. A lot of people have problems with the way they distribute their foot pressure, and they end up with things like bunions, end up with things like plantar fasciitis and heel pain. Quick way to find out if you're screwing up your weight distribution is just look at the back of your shoes. These are sandals. These are a no-no for the most part. But if you look at the heels of your shoe, if you see some uneven wear on the heel or the inside or the outside of your shoe, or maybe even the front in goofy places, chances are you have an uneven strike with your gait, or uneven pressure that you're putting on different areas of the foot. Classic example is like a bunion. So you're putting a lot of pressure on that big toe, and to compensate, you have to put a lot of pressure on the outside of the same foot on the heel. So to correct that, there's a few different things you want to look at. Number one is you want to look at the musculature of the lower leg. So there's muscles in the back called your gastroc or your calves, as well as your soleus. In the front you have something called a tibialis anterior, and that's to raise the foot or extend the foot. And on the sides, like stirrups, you have everters and inverters, right? So pronators, supinators, essentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, dig around for some trigger points and release areas there. And then we're going to look at places where we can stretch and strengthen the foot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the lower leg. All right, and we're going to take our AccuMobility ball or a lacrosse ball, and you're just going to put that right underneath the calf. If you want to put a little pressure on top of it with your other leg, put some more pressure in there, you can. I like to do that. Really kind of makes those trigger points stick out. Once you find that place, what you want to do is just flex and extend the foot a few times, 5 or 6 times. To add a little bit of therapy to this, what you want to do is just, you can wrap a strap or a band right there and just press and extend the foot into it. Activates that muscle a little better, helps release those trigger points. And you want to get down all the way into the soleus. For a lot of people that have issues with tight Achilles tendons, this is a great way to help release that lower leg. Okay, you want to do that 5 or 6 times. And let's look at the front of the leg. So what you want to do is grab something like a yoga block, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little pressure into that tibialis anterior, that meaty part of the shin bone on the outside. What we're going to do is we're going to lay a little pressure in there, and same thing, you're going to move the foot up and back. For a lot of people, they have some pretty nasty trigger points here. So if you ever notice somebody who's when they squat, they raise their toes up, okay, to balance the pressure, they're probably overutilizing that tibialis anterior. So there's probably going to be some pretty nasty trigger points. You can go all the way down almost to that ankle. Okay, once we do that, to get the inside, okay, this can be a little tricky. What you want to do is you want to take that same yoga block, and you can take either a kettlebell or you can take another AccuMobility ball and just put equal amount of pressure there. What you want to do is invert and evert the foot like that. You want to work your way all the way down. Okay, just like so. And just the same for the opposite. I like to do this directly on the floor. Okay, we'll go like that. We'll use the kettlebell this time to add a little extra pressure in there. Okay, and these will get all of those inverters of the foot. Okay, move that in and out. You want to get right on the outside there, right on those stirrup muscles. Okay, add a little pressure in there. There we go. Okay, now we want to get into the foot as well. So for the foot, if you're in a seated position, what you can do is take that active mobility ball and you can put that pressure right into the arch of the foot. This is especially good for people that are pronators, right? So their foot caves inwards. You can put a little pressure into that plantar fascia and just work that foot in and out like this. You can go around in a few different places, like so. You can even do this right on the floor. Okay, you stick that on there and you stand right on top of it. And you can kind of move the foot around. This can be a little bit painful for some. Okay, you just grind around in there. Okay, for a few repetitions. Okay, now that we've treated the lower leg and the foot, now what we want to do is we want to do a little bit of active stretching. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to this yoga block back here. What I'm going to do is just a few calf raises, okay? So I'm going to go on the right leg here. We're going to do about 7 or 8 reps here. And what you want to be careful of is you want to go all the way to the bottom and pause, and then come up into full plantar flexion there. Up and down, just like so. You can also do this with a bent knee. Up and down. Take a little pressure off the knee and add a little bit extra stretch into the calf like that. And what we'll do is we'll do a couple of direct exercises with the foot. So what I'll do is I'll take my foot, flex my toes, and we'll just do some circles like this. We'll do about 10 reps of that, and then we'll go the opposite direction, like that. Then we'll do the opposite. We'll extend the toes, move the foot around, back and forth. Okay, and then what we'll also do is we'll go inversion and eversion like this. Okay, great. So once we've done those, then what we want to do is we want to activate, and actually, now that it's all activated, we want to actually implement it into new corrected movements. So where you want your foot nice and rooted in some of your basic fundamental functional exercises are things like air squats and lunges. So I'll show you a couple different variations there. Simple air squat. Okay, feet rooted into the ground, feet shoulder width apart. Okay, knees right over the toes, all the way down, all the way up. Really focusing on flexing and rooting those toes and feet right into the ground, coming up and down. Okay, some nice squatting there. Okay, and now what we want to do is some lunging. So I really like the reverse lunge. Okay, nice and slow in a nice tempo controlled, and we go out to a 45-degree angle while keeping the foot straight, feet rooted in the ground, keeping the knee tracking over the toes. And if you can even go out to the side, we'll do that both sides. So back, nice and balanced, 45 degrees, and then all the way to 90, like so. And what I would do is I would do 2 or 3 sets like that, 10 to 12 reps each. You can get creative with some of the functional movement, and that's a great way to keep the foot active, great way to do some active therapy on the foot, but also for foot maintenance. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that helps.